What's up, coaches? Hope you guys are doing well. Here is Wednesday. So timeline could get tight today. Make sure you know your setup and know how many athletes you anticipate to work through. Take your scan at the beginning of the class and then adjust your tempo accordingly. You may need to run 2 heats of the row test, so that may mean you need to speed up during the warm-up and the strength just a little bit in order to leave enough time to run those 2 heats without running over. General warm-up, we're using the same approach. You guys are starting to get the flow with this. Use good energy. The biggest thing, we can do whatever movements, does not matter if the energy is low. So good energy, good perception with your voice, and use that stuff to your advantage to get your class moving. Specific warm-up. We're going to be working the power clean today for our testing. So we want to go through some coach's cue. Now, this is going to apply to pulling a power clean from the floor. Not everyone is going to be doing a 1 rep power clean from the floor, but it's still great to work the skill, and it's still valuable in terms of when we go to that hang power clean, because a lot of the same positions are repeated. So the coach's cue, you're going to go 5 to 7 reps. We're going to start with a mid-shin based approach. Your goal would be to do this 1 time through with the PVC for 3 to 5 reps, and then 1 time through with an empty barbell for 3 to 5 reps. Even those doing the fitness-based option, they still need to learn new skills. So we're going to have them do this, and then they're going to switch over to the kettlebell when we do the actual testing portion. So we're going to have that first position is going to be the approach position. So the approach mimics a ground-based pull. Imagine I had plates on the barbell. We're going to go 1 inch and floor. Now above the knee, floor. I keep tension on. Pockets. Sweeping the bar into the sweet spot and floor. Clean. Now, what I'm working on is I'm doing the full movement, but I feel those positions repeating themselves as I work through that full range of motion. All right? So I would go again. You guys can kind of see this in action now. So I would go floor. Now 1 inch. Floor. Above the knee. Floor. Pockets. Floor. Clean. And recover. All right? So the goal behind that is to have people memorize the bar path. What should their body feel like as they work through that first and second pull? What should the bar be doing as they work through that first and second pull as well? All right? So go through 3 to 5 reps with PVC, then 3 to 5 reps with an empty barbell. All right, so our test for the day in terms of strength, we're taking 15 minutes to establish a heavy but 100% perfect, power clean. For our strength competitor group, we're going to be doing a 1 rep max power clean from the floor. For our strength performance group, we're going to be doing a 3 rep max hang power clean from the hang, right? Not from the floor, but from the hang. And then for our fitness health crew, they're going to be doing a 15 rep max kettlebell high pull. So let's talk about the kettlebell high pull. So this is still emphasizing a dynamic movement that's powerful through the ground, forced to the floor like a power clean, but it's taking some of the technical aspect out of it, and it's allowing us to use an object within the kettlebell that fits a higher repetition, all right? So I'm going to be setting the kettlebell between the stance. I have a very similar approach to if I was doing a clean. It should look almost identical. They're going to drive their feet to the floor, and just like in the clean, it should be the extension of the hip and the knee, not the ankle, like they would do with a barbell. The feet are going to stay flat. Boom, and then once they extend, now I'm going to pull elbows high into the outside, the same way they would if they were doing the clean. All right, so it's going to be 15 touch and go reps. 1, touch and go 2, touch and go 3. We're emphasizing that the elbows have to get higher than the wrist, and that we cannot lean back and muscle into the pull. We're looking for the shoulder to be in a straight line with the hip, at the finish position of that high pull. All right. So we're looking at a technically perfect repetition here on the power clean and the 3-rep max hang power clean. We have to use a max that's technically perfect in order to fit for our percentages later on. If we use a max that was set with a poor technique, we're going to have percentages that are too high, and we're going to set really bad muscle memory. All right. So the only repetition that counts towards the base moving forward within the program is the heaviest rep or set of 3 for that next group that was set with 100% perfect technique. All right, let's dive into our road test. So you may have to run 2 heats here. Like I mentioned earlier, make sure you use your time wisely leading up to this so that we can fit 2 heats in here if needed. Ideally, we all use rowers. If you have a huge class, and some people don't mind doing the ski or the bike, as long as they retest on those, it's fine. So what we're looking at here is a power test. We're looking at the anaerobic energy system, meaning that we're doing this without oxygen, right? So we're keeping it within that 30-second time frame. They're getting after it. They're in that like 90% range, and then they have the equal amount of rest, and it's testing the body's ability to repeat that same high power output. So technique matters here. Efficiency will definitely play into the later rounds. Your best rowers will absolutely have the most consistent times, more consistent outputs, and that's exactly what we're looking for. So for your primer, we want to make sure we do 30 seconds of rowing at what they feel like is their desired pace. So if after 30 seconds they think they have the right pace, but they're totally gassed, absolutely wrecked, and it's clear that that pace is too fast. If they go for 30 seconds and there's no stimulus at all, then it might be clear that they need to move a little bit faster. All right. If you guys have questions or feedback on this day, I'd love to hear how the power clean maxes went with the different groups. Let me know how the high pulls went for your fitness-based group. I want to know if that's a really good movement from your perspective. And then let me know if the timeline's working out as well within the earlier classes. All right. Appreciate you guys. See ya.